Welcome back to the Mike Daggs Reviews Top 100 Movies of My Life. Today, I'm going to try and continue on the list and also throw in some honorable mentions because, listen, I get it. I missed some movies. There's 100. It seems like that's a lot of movies, but when you start to put together a list like I have, you notice you miss some. You just can't put every single movie on there. Like, as the time of recording, I've put 33 movies onto this list. So we're a third of the way through, and there's probably another 20 movies I could think of that I would love to put on the list. And people might have mentioned that I just haven't and didn't because it's tough. It's hard to leave some off. So we're going to kick things off with number 87, and that is King Kong. Peter Jackson's King Kong, to make that, clear that up, because it's not the original one, because God knows I'm all set with that. Made in 2000, the 2006 version with Jack Black in it. I'm kind of a sucker for grandiose spectacle type of movies, and King Kong feels that way. I mean, he's one of the original movie monsters, man. The movies that people just want to see it, and that's, I feel like those movies always have that, especially because Peter Jackson was coming off of Lord of the Rings, and he could have pretty much done no wrong, although I'm sure that it's not a very well received movie. But for some reason, it just resonates with me, and I just really love it, so I had to put it on the list. The CGI still holds up. Like, Kong looks really, really good in this movie, still, to this day. And that's not something you can say for movies back in 2006. If it wasn't made right back then, it doesn't look good now. Clearly, King Kong can still make money. They're still making money. They're still making King Kong movies. This one can be cheesy at times, but I still really do love it. It's just a fun movie to go back and revisit. Number 85 is Ice Age. There's something just charming about these movies. The voice acting is just wonderful. Dennis Leary, Ray Romano, John Leguizamo. That took me 2 takes to say that. Talk about a movie that that actors have been forgotten in time almost. This is also a great animated movie that wasn't made by Disney, which is wild to think of. Can you think of another good animated kids movie that isn't made by Disney or Pixar? This spawned a franchise of films that, whether you love them or hate them, they did a great job. The characters in it are memorable. I mean, who doesn't think of that and feel bad for that stupid squirrel just trying to get that nut? He's just out here doing what everybody else is, trying to get that nut. I'm just glad it's on my list, sandwiched between more serious movies, like the number 84 movie on my list, which is Fury. Back into the scope of World War II, because I'm a sucker for time period movies, and especially World War II. I think it makes it 5 total from that, which I don't know what that says about me. It's also one of 4 movies that Brad Pitt is in, because, I mean, he's just an amazing actor. But he's also next to just a great makeup of actors. Michael Pena, John Bernthal, Shia LaBeouf. They play off each other so well in this desperation story set towards the end, the closing months of World War II. It's a movie about some tankers that are just trying to essentially not get killed. It's based loosely on an actual event, which, again, if you've been following, that's something that gets me every damn time. But also from passages written from World War II tankers about the life and the insanely high death rate it was to be a tanker in World War II. In the preparation for filming, they made the actors, like in most movies, go through a boot camp to just be prepared to be psychologically in that role. They made them sleep and eat and live in a Sherman tank. They had them spar each other and stay, I think it was a 6-week thing. And you can tell that they have this resentment but love in the film, the actors do. And it's a great, great movie. It feels genuine, and I think it might have gone under the radar because I don't hear too much about the movie. It was received very well, and I love it. I just recently went back and watched it, and it's just mind-blowingly good. Number 83 is A Beautiful Mind. Russell Crowe in this depiction of a brilliant Princeton graduate who has a mental breakdown. He's a paranoid schizophrenic, and it just shows it completely surprised me. But when I first saw this movie, I saw this when I was pretty young, and it stuck with me. And that's something that a lot of the movies on this list are on here for the reason that they stuck with me. I remember this movie. I might not remember the entire thing because it's been years since I've seen it, but it had such a profound impact that it's lasted this long in my memory. I remember it not making much sense. Like, what is wrong? Why is this things are unraveling, and is this happening or is it not? Is it in his mind? Is he imagining it? And at the end, when it reveals that it is, you're just blown away. And his acting's very, very good in it. It's a emotional roller coaster of a movie, and I love it. Number 83. Number 82 is Ghostbusters. It's one of those movies that everyone knows about, but I don't think that everyone actually has like taken in and absorbed, or maybe just too much time's gone by, or maybe the newer ones have left a bad taste in your mouth. But this movie's like extremely funny. like extremely, extremely funny. Again, like a lot of these older movies, I hadn't watched it in a long time. I went back and watched it. Actually, when I did the review for the newer Ghostbuster, the all-female led Ghostbuster movie, I went and rewatched this one, and I was like, holy crap, this one is so much funnier, so much better. But if you like the newer ones, go back, like I said, go back and watch the original Ghostbusters. It's great. All right, last on the list, on the actual list, is number 81. It's Speed. And a few years back, I started a series called Was It Actually Good? And this was the first movie I did for it. And long story short, it is. It's very good. This is such a great action movie. Keanu Reeves is just amazing in it. Sandra Bullock is great in it too. The concept of the villain is great. This movie screams mid-90s at you, and it doesn't let you forget. From like the just over-the-top explosions to the bad boy take no prisoners cop, and how it all like just kind of spins around at the ending of it. You don't think it's going to be like somebody gets killed. You don't think it's going to happen. It's just, they did the most 90s thing with the sequel to it, where they didn't bring Keanu Reeves back, but they brought back Sandra Bullock, and then they named it Speed 2 Cruise Control. Like, it's so outstandingly awful, and the movie itself is so bad comparatively to the first one. And I feel like 80s and 90s really butchered the sequels to all like the great movies. Just so many bad, but the original Speed holds up. It's amazing. But that's the last one of this list. So we'll move on to the honorable mentions section of this. So these are movies that at one point were probably on the list. Then they, for some reason or another, they got moved and couldn't just get back to be put on the list. So the first one's Children of Men. It's a great movie adaptation from a book. It's like the government dystopian future. I think it might have not been seen by Clive Owen plays in it. It's actually funny because the same director that directed my favorite Harry Potter movie. This one just has a ton of great actors in it, and it's also very well known because there's a lot of scenes in it that are one take action sequences that have a ton going on. It's a very interesting movie, and it makes me actually kind of want to read the book. There was also Gone in 60 Seconds. Nick Cage is one of my favorite people to see act. Like you never know if it's gonna just be terrible or amazing. So anytime he's in a movie, it's just like, who knows what's gonna happen in this one. This was like one of my first favorite car movies too. Like, remember when they used to make a lot of car racing movies? I feel like they just don't do that anymore. This one I was upset that I couldn't fit on the list. Also, there's The Green Mile. This was originally my number 100 movie. I was going to make it the number 100, then I remembered Django Unchained, and it just slightly got beat out. I've been reluctant to go back and watch it because I know I'm going to cry, as everybody does when you watch this. And I just don't need that energy in my life right now, to be honest with you. Plus, I had enough Tom Hanks. I mean, there's a whole video dedicated to all the Tom Hanks movies on my list. So I figured that one could get cut. Also, there was Hacksaw Ridge. This one, I was strongly in the running for number 100. This was actually the movie that made me want to do an honorable mention, because I toyed around with putting it on like lower, like down on the list a little bit more, and then I was like, you know what, I can just throw it on our honorable mentions, because I mean, I this was the highest movie that I ever reviewed. I think I gave it like a 9.2 or something. This was one of those movies I immediately watched, and I was like, this is fucking incredible. It's World War II based on a true story. I mean, what else does it need to be for me to love this movie anymore? But the genre didn't go unrecognized, so there's plenty of other World War II movies. This one's right up there with the best of them, but it's safe to leave in an honorable mentions and not in the top 100. Then I will close this out with one I literally added while I was writing the script for this. And it's Logan. How in the world did I leave off possibly the best comic book movie? And I'll tell you that I just screwed up. I don't know how to tell you. There's a strong possibility that this was on the list somewhere, and it just got deleted. Like, all the movies are on a spreadsheet, so I have them so I can see them. And it's very possible that when I went to type something else, Logan got deleted, and then by the time I got the movie posters for these videos and put them all into categories and started writing out the bios for these movies, that it just got left behind. But it is one of my favorite comic book movies. I could go around and move things and edit stuff and squeeze it in the list. It would probably be, I'd say, in the 40s. But you know what? I'm not going to do that. It's just too much work to try and squeeze it in. It can be on my honorable mentions, so that way it's there. But yeah, I mean, I'm okay with leaving it off. I've made peace with it. It was very weird though when I first saw it. I was like, what the fuck? How'd I leave off Logan? But it just goes to show you that there's a lot of movies. There's a lot of movies that I've seen and that you could put onto these lists and move them around and probably leave it off. I actually remembered Blow. Somebody just brought that up to me literally today, that's not on the list either, and that should be on an honorable mentions. So it's tough to cut things and move things around, but I'm happy with the list so far, and I'm happy with how this is all turning out. I'll be pinning a photo comment with the movies that are put onto this list so far, because I know this is video number 7, and I believe we're at around 42 movies or something like that. So it's obviously, I don't remember, so I don't expect anybody else to remember where we're at so far. So I'll be pinning the comment of what I made, this nice little photo that I posted a couple weeks back. This will be on there, so you can check out my list so far and tell me as always, if you agree with it, if you disagree with it, whatever you're feeling, let me know, and I'll respond to that. And if you could give this video a like, that'd be awesome. I have a TikTok where I'm posting some of these short little clips of these movies with the numbers, so you can keep up with it that way. And everyone's on TikTok. So thank you very much. I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.